Pete Buttigieg has done it again to Fox News. Pete Buttigieg appeared with Lawrence Jones on Fox News during the Democratic National Convention. The topic of crime came up, and Pete Buttigieg did something which I love, which is not only was he able to resist and reject and redirect the failed talking points from the Fox host, he also said to the Fox audience, if you only watch this channel, you probably aren't even aware of what's going on. These people probably don't even tell you about the truth of what's happening with crime. So let's listen to Pete Buttigieg once again put on a clinic and how to deal with right-wing media.
Came down to the debt ceiling negotiations that she had to take it over because he didn't know the talking point.
He won the debt ceiling negotiations. That's the point. You can go over whether he slips up and says one name when he wants to say another name, or you can look at what he's actually accomplished as president. It turns out he's really good at being president of the United States.
So let's talk about the record of the Biden-Harris administration. When you look at inflation, it's up 19.4%. When you look at the southern border, it's 8.1 encounters. When you look at crime.
I just want to pause it here. See how this is the perfect example of a meaningless statistic of no consequence whatsoever. When you see up on a screen 8.1 million southwest border encounters, that doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't tell you how many of them are encounters with people on this side of the border who are here legally, but it's just an encounter. How many are people seeking asylum? How many are folks that are being taken into custody versus not? How do these numbers compare? What do these numbers mean with? It's just a number, and it doesn't mean anything. It's absent any context or meaning.
Crime across 66 major cities is up almost 10% at 9.6%. Is that a record that you can run on?
Well, certainly the Biden-Harris record of bringing crime down compared to why crime went up under Donald Trump. And I often wonder, whether viewers of this network are aware that violent crime went up under Donald Trump. I think that deserves more coverage so we can ask ourselves why. And some of that has to do with policy. Some of that has to do with the message we send. When you have Donald Trump, an unrepentant, convicted criminal, running against a prosecutor like Kamala Harris, we have an opportunity to send a message about whether we're serious on law and order in this country or whether it's a talking point, whether it's just something people try to.
It's only a talking point. We figured that out for sure.
Use as a political theme for partisan gain. You want to talk about inflation? Inflation went up in every country after COVID, but we brought inflation down in this country. Of course, the most important question, every election is about the future, right? And in the future, economists predict the Trump plan will increase costs for American families by $3,900. So why would we go back? Somebody's going to make it worse.
I don't want you to think that the crime issue or inflation issue is something new, because I've been covering it for years. I go out there and talk with voters every single day.
So you did cover the increase of crime under Trump.
Yesterday, I had the opportunity to talk with a mother. She's not a Republican. She's someone that would vote for a Democrat most of the time. Many of the people that are complaining are actually Democrats.
Yes, it's primarily Democrats complaining. So Pete doing a really, really, really good job. And then when Lawrence Jones pulls the number of people shot out of a hat, Pete Buttigieg says, then shouldn't we be doing something about gun violence by electing the right people?
Back to you, Mr. Secretary, the people that are being killed in places all over the country, they look like me, they don't look like you. And they're upset with the Democratic Party not taking it seriously. You guys sent the cavalry in.
Not taking it seriously.
Hold on, let me finish. You guys sent the cavalry. You guys sent the cavalry in for you guys for your protection. But the people of Chicago don't see that on a day-to-day basis. What are you guys going to do to stop the bloodshed in our community?
Well, first of all, I was mayor of a city that faced that kind of pain. The toughest part of the job was dealing with gun violence, and the most heartbreaking part of the job was comforting or trying to comfort mothers who just wanted their child back. And the big question, I think, for politics, for policy, for media, is who is going to help them versus who is going to use them. The questions she's asking are the exact question any citizen should be asking, which is when you take office,
what do you mean
are you going to keep your promise?
mother is being used?
I'm saying that mother is asking the exact right question. And the question is, what are you going to actually do when you come into office? Now, we're getting a lot of people speaking up about...
Just tell me what you guys are...
I'll tell you exactly what we're going to do.
What you've done to stop the bloodshed.
Actually confront gun violence. 90% of Americans, more than 80% of Republicans, think we ought to at least be doing universal background checks. But Donald Trump says no. The Republican Party says no. You talk about assault weapons, something that made a difference when that assault weapons ban contributed to the reduction in crime. I remember coming to Chicago as a kid. And by the way, even though some media only want to talk about the worst and most painful things that go on in our city, Chicago is a proud city. Chicago is an extraordinary city. But I do remember coming here when crime and murder was off the charts, and the work that went on to bring it down from those levels that we saw in the past, the work that's going on to save lives right now is something that deserves the backing.
There was over 20 people shot last week, 5 people shot over the weekend.
Then why would we elect leaders who won't do anything about gun violence?
Well, it's the Democrats that run the city. Name the Republican that is in charge.
All right, but this is really important, right?
No, tell me.
I will tell you.
One Republican in charge of Chicago.
Well, hold on.
Name them.
Listen to me, because not only did we have those levels of crime under Democratic and Republican leaders, right? But people try to cherry pick this for partisan purposes. You want to play that game?
It's not partisan.
We can talk about
As I told you, Mr. Mayor, they look like me, not you.
Yeah, and so is the case in Boston, where there is a much lower murder rate, and also a Democratic mayor. We can talk about how the murder rate in Mississippi is double what it is in Illinois. Now,
so listen, he's doing the best he can. Lawrence Jones has the louder mic, but Pete Buttigieg is really good at this. And we could even analyze how, if in setting up his answer, he first introduces a kind of personal story about his experience as mayor. He then talks about the stories that are sort of alternates to the story Lawrence Jones is telling. He then connects it to policy, and then finally goes to the hypocrisy of the people that are pointing this out, often elect the leaders who don't actually want to deal with it. So really nicely done. He's very good at this, and I would not be surprised to see him in even higher positions in the future, to put it lightly, if not potentially running for president once again. Being this close to the presidential election, noise from the right on things like who Tim Walz really is and how Kamala Harris handled immigration as the supposed borders are, is only going to intensify, and that's why I've been using Ground News as a solution. Our longtime sponsor, Ground News, gathers related news and adds important context that might influence how each outlet frames the facts. My Vantage plan even gives me access to their election-focused blind spot feed, diverse perspectives on the most pressing issues and the latest stories on each candidate, so you can determine the truth on who they really are, not just hearing the loudest and most biased opinions. For each story you read on their platform, you'll find every article Ground News found reporting on it, as well as tags next to the source indicating if they're independently owned or not, how credible their reporting is, if they have any political bias, making it really easy to critically analyze different perspectives and come to your own conclusion. Ground News is independent and subscriber supported, but my viewers will save 40% on the same Vantage plan that I use. For unlimited access to all of their features, go to ground.news/Pacman or scan my QR code to subscribe.